And happy holidays and welcome to another edition of Warlock Hour with Razor. It is Warlock Wednesday, recording on Monday. It is Christmas Eve, and I'm doing a podcast. That's right, I'm here for you on Christmas Eve. Alright, I'm going to get right into things. Comics this week. I'm going to start with comics, and this week's very small as far as releases. Due to the holiday season, the comic book companies don't want to put out too much. They don't want you to... Well, they know that the sales aren't very high, like, at this time of year. Right before, there was a big release last week. This week, not so much. So, no top fives. Just going to give you a couple of releases from the two major companies. Aquaman 15 and Justice League 15 from DC. And the biggest release this week is from Marvel Comics, and that would be Amazing Spider-Man number 700. The reason why this is so big is because, as I mentioned before, this will be the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man. This is it. It is done, number 700, and the issue cost is apparently $8 compared to $2.99 or $3.99, which is the more common comic book rate. You'll see some at $4.99 depending on the thickness, but this is $7.99. This is a big issue. This is the last Amazing Spider-Man ever. In the new year, we're going to get Superior Spider-Man, and there's been mixed reviews about that. I may check it out. I want to see how things go, but I've never been a big Spider-Man reader as far as comics go, but I'm definitely going to be picking up Amazing Spider-Man number 700. Sticking with comics, a couple of weeks ago, I went on a little bit of a rant because Gail Simone, the writer on Batgirl, was fired, unceremoniously fired from DC, and that was just a dick move on their part. First of all, not only did they fire her, as she's been working with this character for a while, especially everything since the New 52 started, but they did it via email. Well, people of the internet have spoken. The internet has made this decision almost reversed. That's right, Gail Simone is back on Batgirl. DC announced that she will be back. They've had a change of heart. This isn't the first time that's happened in the industry. Marvel did it quite a few years ago. It happens before where an author or writer or artist is fired and then they're brought back quite quickly. Gail Simone herself posted on her Twitter, I know who the next writer on Batgirl is, and her name is me. I'm typing this on a snowy road. Cell service is about to disappear. I know everyone has a million questions, but Batgirl, baby! Thank you to DC for this privilege, and a million thank yous to everyone who wanted to see this happen. I am ecstatic. And of course she would be. Gail Simone is definitely the best writer for this comic. One of the things I want to say here is that I know it wasn't just me. I know that there were millions, well, maybe not millions, but definitely hundreds of thousands of people who were very upset at the fact that she was fired. And it's good to know that DC was paying attention. They know what their audience wants, and this is what they want. They want Gail Simone to do Batgirl, and she is coming back. Now, Ray Fox will be taking the reins for a couple of issues. I still don't know who the writer for 17 is. I don't have it announced anywhere, because as we know, issue number 16 was supposed to be the last one that Gail Simone was going to write. Issue 17 has no writer. It could be Ray Fox, could be Gail Simone, could be some other writer for that one issue. Then Ray Fox is, I believe, just doing 18 and 19, and then in issue 20, Gail Simone will be back. Don't quote me on that. That is just the conjecture at this point that it's going to be issue 20 when she returns. That will just give her a couple weeks off, like in the comic industry they obviously read ahead. So this gives her a little bit of a time to work up some creative juices, and let's get Batgirl going back where she belongs, back with Gail Simone. And I am looking forward. I'm excited. I was so happy to find out that she was rehired not too long after being fired, because I was really worried about where Batgirl was going to be going. And now I don't have to worry, because Gail Simone definitely deserves this job, and I'm glad she has it back. Sticking with comics, everybody knows that Disney bought LucasArts, which means they bought the Star Wars franchise. It wasn't... One of the things that I thought of was what would happen to the Star Wars comics. Star Wars comics has long been produced by Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse Comics has been the company that has put out the Star Wars comics in that genre. Way back when Star Wars first came out back in the 70s, it was Marvel who was publishing them. Now it will be Marvel again. Star Wars comics license will disappear from Dark Horse once their current contract runs out. So that means in just over a year, probably, we're looking at 2015 for when Marvel will pick it up, which is basically about the same time. Episode 7 is due out as in 2015. Now, I don't know how far into 2015 the contract goes, but basically the suits have determined that no new contracts will be given to Dark Horse after the current ones expire, so all new projects after 2013 will be handled internally by Marvel. It is not known if the titles will be worked into the regular lineup or Marvel create its own special branch to deal with Star Wars, like they might have the Marvel comics, which is their normal genre of comics that they put out, the X-Men's, the Wolverines, the Spider-Mans, the Captain Marvels, the Hawkeyes, the Gambits, and so on that Marvel produces, and then they might have a Star Wars section, or will Star Wars just be thrown into that bullpen as well? But what they do know is that when these contracts expire with Dark Horse, that will be it. The stories that Dark Horse have coming down the pipeline will be the last, and you can expect new from Marvel. You expect anything new from Marvel dealing with Star Wars to arrive around 2015, as I said. This is going to coincide with Episode 7 coming out. I don't know if it's exactly going to coincide, because, I don't know when the contract actually expires for Dark Horse. We just know that in 2015 it will now be under the Marvel Comics Group, as opposed to the Dark Horse Comics Group. So, that being said, can we look forward to good issues or bad issues? That will remain to be seen. For now, Dark Horse still holds the rights. They will be publishing them through 2013 and obviously 2014 if the contract says that 2015 is when we're going to see the Marvel one. However, for now, it does look like Star Wars is coming back to Marvel, and I think this was to be expected. I was always wondering what was going to happen, just because when Disney bought George Lucas's gigantic Lucasfilms and the Star Wars franchise, I figured what was going to happen, or I was wondering what was going to happen with the Dark Horse comics, and now we know. It is official. It will be coming back to Marvel, which Disney bought before they bought Lucasfilms, and Disney is just becoming such a powerhouse right now. Man, what money they must be raking in. Okay, moving on to movie news. I want to take a look at the box office. We're going to do the top 10. Alright, number 1, as expected, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. As unexpected, huge drop in numbers. Last week it made just over $80 million, 85, 86 I think it was at. Well, it now raked in only $36 million. Now, I say only because it's such a huge drop. It's an over 50% drop from week 1 to week 2, which is good enough to keep it in number 1 spot. It's a respectable number, but when you consider that this drops them so much so that the amount of money that has now made $150 million, it's projected to only do about $280 million, which is now going to stay below all 3 previous Lord of the Rings movies. And this is bad in the sense that when you make a movie so many years apart, inflation, technologies make the price of tickets go up. This means less people are actually going to see these movies because the ticket prices are higher. We have 3D, we have the high frame rate HFR, we have the IMAX theaters, and these are not cheap. And these are things that didn't happen in the previous Lord of the Rings. There was no 3D for the previous Lord of the Rings. There was no HFR. There was some IMAX, but again, less. So this is higher. I want to say right now, just excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I hope that this comes across not too bad today. Anyways, continuing on, the numbers dropping this drastically from week 1 to week 2 is not good. What will we see over the holidays, as we got 2 weeks now where the kids are out of school? Maybe word of mouth might keep it high enough that it might push past the $300 million mark. It's hard to say. I mean, the movie is good. I've seen it. I enjoyed it. It's a little long in some places. You know, when you're sitting in a 3-hour movie, you kind of want it to move along a little bit better, just because it can stagnate if it's not always not necessarily always giving you action, but always giving you something to pay attention to and watch and enjoy. But again, the movie is good. It's just not performing up to expectations. And you have to consider that when you're lower than your previous 3 movies, and you're projected now to do a full run of about $280 million, which is good, but it's below what it would cost to make the movie almost. Now, we can't get really... I don't know the production budget, just because the movies were shot 1, 2, and like The Hobbit is being split into 3 parts, so they're shooting all 3 parts at the same time. I mean, obviously they're filling up some stuff between now and when the others get released, but there will be no breakdown of production costs right away. So I can't say how much this particular film cost, but you can damn well bet that this trilogy is going to cost somewhere in the $300 million range, probably more so due to reshoots. Maybe $400 million raise. You're looking at probably another 20 to 30 million in promotions. So you're looking at a big chunk of change to produce these movies. And this one, yes, it's going to make a lot of it back, but basically they're going to have to rely on the next 2 to make any profit. And that could be bad if the movies stay as bad as they are. Not that the movies are bad as far as content, but doing as bad financially. And there's a big difference there, because there's a lot of good movies out there that you'll go see, and they're really good, yet nobody's going to see them as much. They're more DVD movies. They're movies that are going to succeed well on DVD. I mean, you think back to when Clerks came out. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Clerks comes out into theaters, doesn't do so well, gets released on DVD, boom, huge cult following. His second movie comes out, Mallrats, gets not so great. Again, does great in the DVD market. Chasing Amy came out. Again, it made some money, but again, the DVD market. A lot of Kevin Smith's movies are better in the DVD market. And that's not to say that they're bad movies, because they're actually really great movies if you sit down and watch them. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but they're definitely very good movies. They're just not movies that make bank at the theater. That's what studios are looking at nowadays, is how much money you're going to make me in the theaters. I want to see the big numbers here, because on DVD, we don't really count those numbers if you want a sequel, if you want to do this, if you want to succeed here, if you want to succeed there. They're not going to count the DVD sales as much as they are going to count those box office numbers. So, that being said, The Hobbit is not doing so well as far as finances are concerned, according to the studios. Don't get me wrong, $150 million in 2 weeks is pretty damn good. For me, I would say, yeah, I want to make a movie like that, because that's great. But then again, you have to look at production costs, and that's where studios look at. They look at production costs, how much it's costing them to pay everybody, how much it's costing them to market to this project, and everything that goes involved with that. So, it's looking a little grim, but I hope that things chug along, because obviously we know we still have 2 more, and we need them to do... Well, we don't need them to do well. I want them to do well just because I want to see how good they are. as disappointed as I am that they're breaking them into 3 movies, and boy, I'm just over that. But I think that I want to see this succeed, and I want to see it succeed well as far as content, and that means it's got to succeed financially, according to the studio. So, that all being said, that brings us to number 2, because that was just number 1. So, number 2 was a new release, Jack Reacher, broke the $15 million mark with $15.6 million. Number 3 was This Is 40, another new release, $12 million. Number 4 was last week's number 2, Rise of the Guardians, brought in another $5.9 million. And Lincoln is number 5, brought in another $5.5 million. 2 more new ones. The Guilt Trip brought in $5.3. Monsters Inc. in 3D, the re-release of the Monsters Inc. movie from Disney, 4.7. Skyfall, 4.7. So Monsters Inc. was just above that. They made 4.77, whereas Skyfall made 4.7. So about 70,000 between those two. Skyfall seems to be dropping down now, down the ladder. It's been out for quite some time now. It's down in 8th spot, but remember, $279 million. It's a pretty darn good Bond movie. If you still haven't yet to see it, get out and see it. It's a great Bond flick. A friend of mine even said that he's seen one of the best stunts he's seen in a while. So go out and see this movie. It's a great movie. I know there's a lot coming out over the Christmas holidays, and maybe you want to see The Hobbit instead. But for those of you who haven't seen Skyfall, give it a chance. It's such a great movie. Rounding out the top 10, we got number 9, Life of Pi with $4 million, and the frackin' Twilight movie, still sitting in the 10th spot, 2.6, bringing its total up to 281 domestically. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It's dropping, thankfully, down. It even dropped to over 1,000 screens this week, so it's kind of getting to the end of its run, which I am so happy about, because I'll be so happy when I never have to work another weekend of Twilight. I fucking hate that movie. It is terrible what they've done to vampires, and now what they're going to be doing to zombies. Maybe not the same people, but the stupid zombie movie Warm Bodies, where they're giving a heart to a zombie and they're making it alive again. Are you fucking kidding me? Zombies are the undead. They're people who have died who've come back to life as these undead creatures that eat brains. There's no fucking love story there. Warm Bodies is bastardizing zombies as much as Twilight bastardized vampires. This is ridiculous that they're making a movie like this. Like, yes, I know zombies are a craze, but this is freaking stupid. Are you kidding me? Seriously. People in Hollywood, get a freaking life and think, because you're ruining these things for the real fans, and you're putting out these movies that just, they irk me. To quote a friend, well, not a friend, to quote a celebrity that I like, that is a movie that will suck. It's a piece of shit, and I for one will not be watching it. Anyways, that's the top 10. Just want to take a look again what I was saying about The Hobbit earlier. It is projected, as I said, to make about $280 million, and that is lower than all 3 of the Lord of the Rings. Its 10-day total is sitting at $150 million, which puts it below Return of the King, which made $190 in the same time period, and below below The Two Towers, the second one, which was $168. And like I said before, this was disappointing because of ticket prices. So that's the only disappointment there. Okay, a little bit off topic, well, not off topic, still into movies, but a little bit away from the box office. We're going to do a little list. We are obviously still alive. The Mayan calendar was wrong. I got more on that later. We made it past the 21st, so we're going to look at an article, not my opinion, an article has posted the top 25 films of 2012 according to The Weekend Warrior. Now, just because a movie's listed here low, or a movie may not be listed at all that you like, again, this is not my list. This is a list that was comprised already. Maybe I should do one. Didn't have time this week. So we're just going to read off this one. So number 25 was Goon. Not sure how that makes the top 25 of the best 2012. It was a good hockey movie, kind of Slapshot-esque, but I think I could probably think of 25 movies better than Goon. But number 25, not my list. So number 25, Goon. Number 24, Promised Land. It's a Gus Van Sant movie. Number 23, The Innkeepers. I heard this one only through the grapevine. I didn't know this movie did not come to my theater. It was more of it did really well in the video on demand market. Number 22, which I'm finding a little weird, Django Unchained, because that's not out yet. That's actually coming out on Christmas, and also with that on Christmas Day, we're getting Les Miserables, parental guidance, and some theaters are getting Silver Linings Playbook. Last week I said it might not be till January. It's actually getting a Christmas Day release, not a full wide release, but a release on Christmas Day. And then, as I just mentioned, Django Unchained. So they're ranking it 22 without having seen the movie quite yet. Or maybe this person has. Maybe he's gotten a sneak peek and he's ranking it number 22. I'm really looking forward to this. I like Quentin Tarantino. I'm not a huge Western fan, but the movie itself looks so good. I mean, you've got such a great cast. You've got Christoph Waltz. You've got Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Samuel L. Jackson. And I mean, Tarantino directing it. It's going to be good. Number 21, The Master. Number 20, Looper, which I very much enjoyed, except for the ending. I would have twisted that. Here's where I get a little disappointed. This guy has Marvel's The Avengers ranked number 19th. Now, how do you rank a movie that is the greatest comic book movie of all time, 2, the biggest movie of the year, 3, the third highest grossing film of all time, with only Titanic and Avatar ahead of it? However, this guy feels it's only worth a 19 slot. So, needless to say, I will be in the future making my own lists. This one I'm just reading off. I want to restate that this is not my list. Number 18, Take This Waltz. Number 17, Liberal Arts. Number 16, Lincoln. Number 14, Silver Linings Playbook. Number 13, The Lady. Number 12, Detachment. And number 11, Any Day Now. Now moving into the top 10. Number 10. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I need a drink. Number 10 is where, again, with having the Avengers at number 18, 19 it was, with having Avengers down that low, and have this movie at number 10 be this high, I call bullshit. Number 10 is Prometheus. Prometheus was a horrible fucking movie. First of all, it barely did anything. It had no story. The only thing that it had going for it was special effects. And everybody that I talked to that came out of that movie said this story sucked. I personally thought the movie was not very well done. You go in expecting a certain thing from Ridley Scott, especially when it's quote-unquote an alien prequel. It's not. He's saying it's not. It kind of is. It takes place in that world. But to rank it 10th, oh, so sad. Number 9 was Cabin in the Woods. Number 8, Les Mis. Number 7, Samsara. Number 6 was Skyfall. I couldn't put that up there. Number 5, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Say that 5 times fast. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. There we go. Number 4, Chico and Rita. Number 3, The Impossible. Number 2, The Intouchables. And number 1, they've got a tie. Searching for Sugar Man. That's right, you heard it from me. Searching for Sugar Man. And that's a documentary movie. And then number 1, Life of Pi. Again, not my list, just what the Weekend Warrior thinks. I think the Weekend Warrior is smoking too many drugs or drinking too many beers. He does not have my vote of confidence. So, that was 2012. So I want to look ahead to 2013. Now, we have 12 months. I'm not going to go through every release. However, I'm going to give you my top 2 for each month that I want to see. This is to just give you an indication of what interests me in the next year. So some of the things that I might be talking about in the next year. So in January, the 2 movies that interest me the most are probably Gangster Squad and Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. The reason why these 2 movies interest me the most is because, while Gangster Squad, it kind of reminds me of The Untouchables, and I love that movie. It was about Al Capone, had Kevin Costner in it, and Sir Sean Connery in it. Gangster Squad really reminds me of that. And the reason why I want to see Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, well, it just looks amazing. Plus, it's got Jeremy Renner, who played Hawkeye in the Avengers, and also played in the Bourne Legacy movie, and I can't think of his character name in there, but it's not a big deal. Jeremy Renner is in it, and that's a reason enough to see it, but the movie just looks fantastic. If you haven't seen a trailer for this movie, definitely go online, find it, watch this trailer, because Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is going to be a fantastic movie in January. Okay, so moving into February, I can tell you right off the hand without looking at any release chart off the top of my head, February 14th, Valentine's Day, A Good Day to Die Hard. Excellent day for that movie to come out. I love the Die Hard series. I've been watching my holiday favorite movies, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. But I've been watching them, and Die Hard, the first one, was definitely on that list. So definitely interested in seeing that. My other one for February, actually, I have none. That's right, I've only got one for February because I think February is such a slow month, and that fucking Warm Bodies movie is coming out that month, which is just horrible. Horrible. It just irks me to no end. I guess if I were to add a second one for February, after A Good Day to Die Hard, which like I said, I think is going to be absolutely fantastic, have to go with Snitch. And the only reason I'm going with Snitch is because of Dwayne Johnson. I like Dwayne Johnson. I pretty much see every movie he's in. I will be seeing this movie, so I guess if I were to name 2 for February, it would definitely be A Good Day to Die Hard and Snitch. So those are my 2 February picks. So moving into March, again, I already know one that I want to see in March, that I've been waiting for since June, when it was originally supposed to come out, and that's G.I. Joe Retaliation. They went back and they reshot this movie because, when they first canceled it, they said that they were doing it to put it into 3D. Well, that's just bullshit. It's not going to take you almost a year to convert a movie to 3D. However, that wasn't the only reason. The other reason they canceled is because of Channing Tatum. His popularity with his romantic comedies and his romantic dramas and that lame-ass Magic Mike movie, they wanted to put him back in. Or they wanted to put his scenes longer. I don't know if he still dies. Originally he was slated to die. They were going to kill his character off because he wasn't going to be in it. Channing Tatum wasn't going to be in it anymore, so they killed off his character, and now they're not doing that, or they're at least not doing it as quickly or something. I don't know the full details. Obviously, I don't work for them, but they've changed it up. They're moving on. So definitely G.I. Joe is one of my March ones. My other March one, I would have to say, out of all of them coming out, there's 2 other ones, actually. So I'm going to give you 3 for March. Oz, the Great and Powerful, just because I love Sam Raimi. The movie looks fantastic. It looks visually stunning. It's going to be probably a good movie. But one that I'm looking forward to even more is the Carrie remake. Carrie was done originally by Sissy Spacek. In this version, she's going to be played by Chloe Moretz, which Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good movie. But I have a funny feeling that they're going to rate this movie. I live in Ontario, so the rating system is a little whacked out here. But I have a feeling this movie might even get a PG rating, which would just be balls. It would suck so much. I would love to see this movie be 14A at least, hopefully an 18A. Personally, I prefer an 18A. I know there's one thing I'm not going to see in the original, because Sissy Spacek was a little bit older than a high school student. She was in her 20s when she filmed it. There's a scene in the shower where you kind of get a full frontal, at least upper portion, so you see her breasts. And let's face it, Chloe Moretz is underage. We don't need to see her breasts. I'm not advocating that at all. But that scene is obviously going to be edited differently. They might not even do that scene. They might just show her legs and the blood running down her legs. So I still would love to see this movie at a 14A or an 18A rating. Personally, an 18A rating would be much better because I would love to see some of the horror that comes through a Stephen King novel so well that doesn't always translate to the screen so well. So Carrie is definitely another one I'm looking forward to in March. Moving into April, April's another slower month, so it's a little harder to pick which movies that I want to see. However, there's one big one, and that's Evil Dead. The remake for this looks absolutely fan-fracking-tastic. If you have not seen a trailer for this, and there is one online, you look for the R-rated trailer, the Red Band trailer, whatever you want to call it, this movie looks fan-freaking-tastic. I was really hesitant to see a remake of this. I love the Evil Dead series. This movie looks amazing. When Sam first did the first Evil Dead, he was trying to make a horror movie, but it really was a comedy. It was a dark comedy. This one looks like it's done it right as full horror. It's gone full horror, and it's going to be very good. I'm looking forward to it very much. The other one for April, Pain and Gain. As I said before, I like to see as many Dwayne Johnson movies as I can, and Pain and Gain stars Dwayne Johnson, and he looks like quite the softie. He's a big muscle-bound guy with a heart. And starring alongside him is Marky Mark. Yeah, that's right. So Dwayne Johnson and Marky Mark are going to team up for a movie called Pain and Gain, and I'm looking forward to it. So those are my 2 April choices. Moving on to May. May gets us into the quote-unquote summer movie season. The reason why I do that is because, according to the industry, their summer movie season is from May to August. So while summer doesn't start till June, the summer movie season kicks off usually like around May 4th weekend. May the 4th be with you. Well, this year coming, 2013, May 3rd, Iron Man 3, my number one pick for May. My number one pick almost for the entire 2013. Iron Man 3 is almost my number one pick. It looks amazing. Again, go online, check these trailers out, because this movie looks fantastic. We have a new director. It's not Jon Favreau. However, this looks absolutely fantastic. I'm so pumped to see this movie, and it's not till May. I have to wait that long. My other pick in May, I know a lot of people are going to probably choose between 2, so I'm going to give you 2 more picks for May. For me, I love the Fast and Furious movies, with the exception of the second one and possibly the third one. Those two, like Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift, kind of take them or leave them. A lot of people say they don't like Tokyo Drift. I actually prefer Tokyo Drift as opposed to the second one, just because I like how they tied it in a little bit more. The second one had Paul Walker, but it didn't really tie that much into the storyline. The third one, yeah, it had a new driver, but we had hints and clues and tie-ins to the other movie, and even at the end we saw Vin Diesel come back. So it's just so, to me, so much more tied in. And the other one for May is going to be The Hangover Part 3. Now, I know what you're thinking. They've already done this twice. How is the third one going to work? Let's be real. This is all about money. It's just like making The Hobbit into 3 movies. It's all about money. The movies make money, so they're going to keep making the movies. Although they do say that this is going to be the last one. Let's hope so. But apparently they're going to get really drunk this time and really forget what everything oh wait, they already did that. Okay, so apparently this movie is going to be pretty much the same thing. However, people will go see it. I want to see it, not as much as I want to see Iron Man 3, but it is there for a May movie. Moving into June and the actual summer months, we have one movie that I'm leery about and excited about at the exact same time, and that's Man of Steel. Man of Steel is the new Superman movie, as anybody who's worth their salt knows. And this movie is coming off the heels of Superman Returns, which was it was a fiasco. It was horrible on almost every level. Yeah, it made some money in the box office, but it was absolutely terrible. And the fact that they're making another one, I'm happy about, because we need to forget Superman Returns. It's kind of like the Highlander movies. You got Highlander, and then you kind of want to skip Highlander 2 and go right to Highlander 3, because Highlander 2 was so bad. Even the Highlander people, all the creators, all the behind the scenes people, everybody wants to forget Highlander 2. Well, I want to forget Superman Returns, and hopefully Man of Steel will do that. It looks absolutely fantastic, and they're rebooting it. He's coming from Krypton, he's coming to Earth. I don't know how long the movie's going to be, but from trailers, it looks like it could be about a 2.5-hour movie. So you're probably looking at the first half hour of the movie is going to be like a lot of his origins is going to be played out pretty quick, so we can get into the meat of the story and the reason that he's there, which is going to be facing Zod, which is just absolutely great. They didn't include Zod into the second movie in the original running with Christopher Reeves, so I'm looking forward to this. It looks stellar, so let's hope it stays stellar. The other one I'm looking forward to in June is Kick-Ass 2. Come on, Kick-Ass was absolutely a Kick-Ass movie. It was great. It was well done. I'm looking forward to Kick-Ass 2. So moving into July, trying to speed this up a little bit, kind of getting long on this part, but that's okay. July, 2 movies that I'm looking forward to the most. The Wolverine, which is the sequel to Wolverine, X-Men or Wolverine Origins, whatever you want to call it. He's going to be in Japan. Looking forward to that. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. He also said this past week that there's going to be an appearance by a old X-Men returning from the original 3 X-Men movies. So speculation on who that might be. I've heard some people say Jean Grey. I've heard some people say Professor Xavier. It could really be anyone. I think it could be Rogue even. They're in Japan, kind of fits in a little bit, especially with the whole, they changed the thing where Jubilee wasn't the kind of crush on Wolverine thing. They had Rogue do the kind of crush thing, so it could work. The other movie for me in July is The Smurfs 2. I'm a child of the 80s, man. I loved watching The Smurfs. And the fact that Neil Patrick Harris, or NPH as I like to call him, is in this movie again, Katy Perry's back as the voice of Smurfette, I'm going to be there. I'm going to see it. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love The Smurfs. Into August, there's not much in August that's listed yet. Some of these Some movies will get added as they decide what their release date's going to be. So the only one in August that's right now that I want to see is Red 2. And Red, if anybody's seen the movie Red, you'll understand why. It's got a great concept to it. It's like older guys. It's almost like Expendables, but less actiony and more story. And I really liked it. I thought it was such a great movie that I'm looking forward to Red 2. As of right now, I guess my second pick for August would be 300, Rise of an Empire, which is supposed to be the prequel to the 300 movie. It's not even going to deal with the same thing. It's going to be the rise of the Empire, the bad guys, basically, from the first one. So, not too sure. But as of right now, I guess that would be my second choice for August. So, moving into September, again, as we get further into 2013, not too many movies have picked a date yet. So in September, Riddick is one of the ones that I'd like to see, which is the third and final Riddick movie. So that one's coming out in September. Also, The Tomb, which is with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just because those two guys are in it, I want to see it. I know that they're old and grumpy and probably fat and lazy and all that kind of stuff, but I want to see it. I can't help it. I grew up watching those guys in action movies. I want to see this one too. October makes me happy and sad. Happy because we're finally getting Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. I've been waiting for a second Sin City movie since the first one came out. I'm looking forward to that very much so I'm looking forward to October for that. However, another fucking movie of the Paranormal Activity series comes out in October, and I hate these movies. These movies are almost as bad as the Twilight movies. Why do I say that? Because they're freaking stupid. They make no sense at all. You sit there for over half the movie in complete silence watching this thing, and nothing's happening. Absolutely fuck all is happening. There's nothing on the screen except for a kitchen. Nothing's there. There's nothing going on. It's bullshit, and more bullshit. Something happens for the last 10 minutes, movie's over. It's stupid, and people pay money to see this shit. I can record better shit on a freaking cell phone, and this is the shit they keep putting in theaters because people are paying for it. How many fucking idiots are out there keep watching these fucking movies that people are going to see, and now I have to suffer through bullshit because they're going to make them until you stop watching them. So stop watching these fucking movies! Alright then. Moving on to November. The biggest one for November is Thor. Again, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, also in November, the Hunger Games Catching Fire, and these guys are going to bash heads. Not directly, though. They come out a couple weeks apart. But for me, they're going to bash heads because I'm looking forward to the Thor movie. It's going to advance the Avengers one, which comes out in 2015. It's going to, there'll be a little snippet in there to link it. I was really impressed with the first Thor movie. I'm looking forward to the second Thor movie. It's called The Dark World. That's the subtitle. This is the second Marvel movie for this year. As we know, there's going to be releasing 2 a year. Probably a May and a November release almost every year for the next, hopefully, as many years as I'm alive and on. But also, I've been a big Hunger Games fan, so Hunger Games Catching Fire, the second one in the Hunger Games trilogy, comes out in November as well, which is kind of taking the spot that Harry Potter initially held, and then Twilight tried to take it to get that same core audience, even though way better. Harry Potter's phenomenally better than Twilight could ever dream of being. The Hunger Games is even better than Twilight could ever dream of being. So I'm looking forward to those 2 movies for November. And that brings us to December, the end of 2013, and the first one I'm going to mention is obviously The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, which is the second part of the Hobbit trilogy. Again, I'm very pissed off that they're making 3 movies out of this bullshit. However, I'm still a fan of the Tolkien novel, and I'm going to see it probably. I'm not going to see it opening night. I work at a movie theater. It's too fucking insane. But that is my top pick for December. As of right now, I would say probably that's it. I will add, for those of you who like it, Anchorman 2 comes out that year, or that month, and I fucking hated it. I hate Will Ferrell. Can't stand the son of a bitch. His comedy is the exact same in every fucking movie, which isn't funny in the first one, so it's not funny in the 2000 that he's come out with. I haven't liked a Will Ferrell movie that he's been the star of. Now, I've liked movies that he's a cameo in and had small parts in, but I haven't liked movies that he's the star of since Elf. that was probably the last one that I actually enjoyed. And there's probably a couple before it that I hated, but that was the last one I fully enjoyed, and now I just can't stand the guy. I love the episode of Family Guy where Stewie just kicks his fucking ass because I can't stand this man. He's not funny at all. I don't find him funny whatsoever. And they're making Anchorman 2, but I know there's people out there that like it. I'm not one of them. So, that's it for my movie news. I have a couple of television things, well, just one television thing that I want to mention. For those of you who know me, and those of you who don't, you're going to find out, I'm a big Star Trek fan. I'm probably more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars. What? Yes, that's right. I'm more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars. Mostly because Star Wars has 3 movies that I like. I know they made 6, but they only have 3 that I like. Star Trek has... what? About 10 movies that I like out of the 13 that they've made. So, yeah. Plus they have these little thing called TV series. I love the original series. I love The Next Generation. I enjoyed DS9. I loathed Voyager. I kind of despised Enterprise only because they just screwed everything up with it. Doing a prequel TV series was never a good idea to begin with. So, and that's nothing against the cast, the crew, or the script. It just, for me, didn't appeal to me because prequels just kind of take it. It just kind of sucked. So, sorry, I was right. I do have 2 pieces of TV news, but we're going to finish this one first. So, anyways, I've been reading throughout this year that there's been talk of a new Star Trek TV series. The only problem with this is that J.J. Abrams' new Star Trek movie series has basically reset the universe in a way, because in the first one, spoilers, he changes the timeline. Everything that we know has now been changed. So to make a new TV series based on existing characters is really hard to do. To read a bit of the article here, of course it'd be impossible to say whether any future Star Trek TV series would follow the new continuity established by the Abrams films or return to the classic universe, but at least one Star Trek The Next Generation star believes he's moving closer towards spinning off in his own series. Could it ever really happen? That star is Michael Dorn. Michael Dorn wants to have his own Worf series. I love the character Worf. So to have him have his own series commanding his own ship as captain, and it would be a ship like from some of the sources and some of the leaked information, it would be a new ship. It wouldn't be like an existing ship. It wouldn't be like the Enterprise. It wouldn't be like any of the ships that we know right now. It would be a previously unheard of ship. It would not be a Klingon ship. It would be a Federation ship, and he would be the captain. We'd have a new crew around him. He'd be like the only stay. I just want to read you the quote. Intriguingly enough, it has gotten traction. I was very surprised. I was on a movie not too long ago where one of the producers was basically lobbying to be part of it. He was like, Michael, I'd love to write it if you haven't. So at this point, my agents and my manager are looking at all the avenues and trying to figure out which one is the best. My agent and manager have been in the business for a while, so they're very savvy about where to start and how to get it going. Like I said, in this business, you never know, and I've been through pitching things, and I never want to do that again. It's pretty brutal, but definitely I think once again, if Paramount or CBS or anybody thinks this is a viable thing, they'll jump on it. So, of course, this article goes on to say, Dorn also previously mentioned that he wouldn't be free to start working on a project until his schedule cleared up in 2013. But considering the next Abrams flick is due out May 17th, we imagine Paramount won't be looking for any confusion in their franchises. What say you? The world, the universe? Would you want to see a Worf get his own movie or even TV series? What other incarnations could Star Trek have besides the Abrams films? And for me, I would love to see Worf get his own TV series. I think that would be phenomenal. Now, they just said that they don't want confusion. However, his schedule is not going to clear up till 2013. This says to me that we could be looking at a fall of 2014 release of this. In 2013, his schedule is going to clear up, which means he can start pre-production, casting, and filming. If it's all approved, of course. This would lead to either a... Well, and the way they make up seasons now, he could even come out beginning of 2014, just because, simply speaking, the way the seasons work, they have the half seasons. He could come out in the beginning and run 13 episodes from January or February and run 13 episodes there, or they could wait till the fall and have a full 22 to 26 episode season, usually in that range. Depending on who picks it up, of course, and how much they want to lean on this. I think this is a great idea. I would love to see this. My other bit of TV news that I want to say is that tomorrow being Christmas Day, yesterday when you're listening to this was Christmas Day. Hopefully you saw the Doctor Who Christmas special. I am looking forward to that. It is so nice that we actually get Doctor Who when the UK gets it. We're getting it the same day. We're just getting it a few hours later because they're 5 hours ahead of us. I know this because my girlfriend lives in Ireland, so time difference makes it tough sometimes to talk. But yeah, Doctor Who Christmas special, Christmas Day. For those of you listening on Warlock Wednesday, you could, I'm sure, find it somewhere. You know where to look, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Okay. I said earlier that we are still alive. The Mayans lied. Well, it turns out, according to sources, there was another calendar found. So there was no mention of December 21st, and they basically said that December 21st was kind of the end of a cycle, not the end of the world. There's apparently now calendars projecting the world to go on for 7,000 more years, or, well, it's supposed to go till the year 6,700. You know what? I think doomsday preachers and doomsday believers are just... You know what? If you're that interested in dying, like, seriously, you've got some issues you need to work out. Maybe you should be seeing a counselor, because the Earth is going to be around a very long time. Now, whether we're still a part of it, what are you going to do? You can't rely on Mayans who've been dead for thousands of years. I mean, not thousands, but they've been dead a hell of a long time. Obviously, they knew nothing enough to keep their race alive. Why would you trust them thinking the end of the world was coming? Like, seriously, people. You'll die when you die. There's, like, you're born, and then you die. The bit in the middle, that's called life. You gotta live it. You can't be worrying about December 21st, 2012. Well, you know what? Today is December 24th, 2012. I'm sitting here recording a podcast that's going to air December 26th, 2012. Hello? Excuse me. It just irks me to no end that people actually believe this shit, that the world's going to end, that there's going to be all this bad shit happening, and, you know, meteor's going to crash into the Earth. You know what? That could happen. The Earth is still going to be here, people. It's whether we're here that's going to matter. And you know what? If the Earth lasts for 6,000 years, who knows how long the people are going to be part of the Earth? I mean, we're changing everything every day. Like, when the Mayans made this, let's be real. They didn't know some of the advantages we were going to have in the future. They didn't know how technology was going to advance. They're predicting cycles. They're looking at things. Everybody knows the whole saying that history repeats itself. They're looking at things. They're looking at different things that happened to them. They're looking at different things that have happened in their past. They're just trying to project it into the future by creating a cycle. And that's all it is, folks. It's just a cycle. Things happen to repeat. Catastrophes happen to repeat. We've seen, like, so many things. We've seen tsunamis, we've seen hurricanes, we've seen superstorms, we've seen earthquakes, we've seen all kinds of natural disasters. You know what? We're still kicking around. Yeah, we lose a lot of people, and it's sad. And it's tough to rebuild, but we're still here. We're still technologically advanced enough to know that these predictions are just kind of stupid. They're like, okay, I'm not a very religious man. I have my own beliefs. I'm not going to thrust any on you, but the Bible and most biblical or faith or religious text or whatever you want to call it has a very similar saying, and that is, no one knows when the hour will come. Basically saying that nobody knows when the world is going to end, when we're all going to die. And the more I hear people predicting an exact date or time or month or anything, I'm like, oh, well, that's not it. Whether I believe in that religion or not, I just don't see anybody predicting the end of the world. It's either going to happen or it's not. And you know what? Somebody's going to just keep predicting and eventually get it right, and they're like, oh, that guy must have known. Of course, we'll all be dead, so can't credit him. But it's just kind of like, it's like wishy-washy garbage. It really is garbage. And you know what? Here's what I took from it. I'm a Whovian, and some of you guys are probably going, what? A Whovian is a fan of Doctor Who. I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, especially the new series. I do like some of the classic series, but I'm a big fan of the new series. David Tennant was my Doctor. He'll always be my favorite Doctor. Of course, I said that about Tom Baker. But you know what? David Tennant's my favorite Doctor. Probably for the rest of my life, he'll be my favorite Doctor. I don't know how anyone's going to beat him. Matt Smith is great. Don't get me wrong. For all you Matt Smith fans out there, he's a great Doctor. He's no David Tennant. All right. Anyways, what I was going to say was that when I woke up on the 22nd, I posted a thing on my Facebook page saying, the Doctor saved us! We're alive! It's Doctor Appreciation Day! So you know what? From now on, December 22nd is going to be Doctor Appreciation Day for me. And I'm going to post it every December 22nd from now until the day I die. That December 22nd is Doctor Appreciation Day, and I'm saying right here on the podcast, December 22nd. Remember that date? Because it's Doctor Appreciation Day. He saved us from the Mayan extinction theory, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so that's all I have for this week. So I'm just going to wrap it up with a little bit of business. Every week we do 3 podcasts right now. We're looking for 3 more. You can contact James at anotherpodcast.com. I believe he has his email there. We have 3 broadcasts each week. We have Another Monday, where you can listen to OJ and James, and that should be up online now. You can listen to Real Tuesdays with OJ and James. That's the real music. So Real Tuesdays. And, of course, myself on Warlock Wednesdays. And this will be posted December 22nd. You can look for that on anotherpodcast.com. That's EHNOTHER podcast.com. You can also look for us on iTunes under Another Podcast, and there's the different categories there, but you look us up under Another Podcast on iTunes. I hope everyone's enjoying the holiday season. Remember, don't drink and drive. That's right, folks. You got to be safe out there. And remember, the kids are out of school, so definitely be safe. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that kind of good stuff. And have a good one.